And yeah, so time-wise, I want to make sure we get this right to give John some more time to talk about feminism.
Yeah,
that's where I was going to go next.
That's a great transition. So I know you talked about on Sean's show, like, and I think these two topics are obviously go hand in hand. Feminism's coming through the government schools, and now it's infiltrating the church. And so I just wanted to hear you just preach on that for a minute and go off on that, and we can kind of interact.
Yeah. Why is feminism awful?
I think it is destroying women by holding out a false ideal to shoot for so that you spend your youth utterly after vain ambitions that leave you completely hollow. It also destroys the family unit as well. It destroys men. It is a wrecking ball societally and to the family.
Well, John, that first point you made there, I think, is going to be critical because it's aiming at the people it's supposed to be serving, the women,
right?
In terms of it's destroying them in terms of what really is right for them before God, where there's real satisfaction, real wholeness, real joy. So, John, what do you mean by that in terms of feminism hurting the women? I think you should expand on that because I think that's a good thing to take aim at because it pretends to be doing the opposite.
My wife was caught up in this stuff. My wife was she was on her way to be a boss babe. She didn't need a man, and she was strong and independent. And she was, in school and leading all these clubs and working a job and getting a career. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But what my wife found out is though she had these aspirations that were kind of handed off to her as the noble pursuits that women should aspire to, don't sell out and give up on your dreams and just be a mom or a wife, and then that's kind of the propaganda. It's almost like women would look down on you if you had such lowly expectations of yourself to just be a mom. Really? And so it is swept up in the whole ether of society to sneer at any woman that would have that aspiration to be a wife and a mother. When the problem is once you hit about 30, 34 years old, that's all you'll actually want to do. And you're going to be scrambling to find a husband, somebody who will settle down and then pop out kids as fast as you can because you realize you have been working for the man, doing your 9 to 5, and you found that climbing that corporate ladder was absolutely hollow. You spent your best years and you didn't give them to a man who would love you unconditionally till death do you part and raising kids. Instead, you went to a boss, a job, and you worked to beat. And you're realizing, no, it's actually far, far more fulfilling to have a family. You notice that's think ahead of on your deathbed many, many years, but you won't care about the job. You'll just want to be surrounded by a bunch of grandkids, and you'll want, your old arthritic hand wrapped in the hand of your husband who's got real old beside you, and y'all have seen the world and you made some memories, and it's been a really sweet ride, but it ended up being all along that you women were utterly lied to. Feminism is a fool's gold. The most important thing you could possibly do is raise a family, love a husband, and there is just such riches in that. I work a job. I have a really good job. I love my job. Warrior Poet Society is a really good deal. But the problem is even when I'm working my job, as good as it is, I just want to be home with my family all the time. So I'm not saying something for a woman that isn't different than me. I go work and I make a living and I'm having impact around the world. And so I am so grateful to God that I have my day job. That's great. But I want to be home all the time with my family. That's where the greatest joy comes from here on this earth. It's not bank account. It's certainly not. I want to be able to pay my bills, but after that, I just want to be with the people I love most. I want to raise my sons and I want to slow dance with my wife through the years.
That was amazing.
Good stuff.
We're going to cut that out, but that's one of the greatest,
that was a great
one of the greatest Christian ads for women and
it's so
mothers.
True though. Your point, Jeff, like every way that our society claims to love women is actually hating women.
Yeah.
You know, like objectify them, turn them into a commodity, abort 500,000 little women per year. Just all the ways that we claim that we are working to help a certain people, like down to the point of like, let's erase the very concept of womanhood. But we're loving women as we do that. J.C.
Ryle's book, Holiness, if you haven't read it.
I'm reading it right now, actually. Funny you brought that up.
Once a year. Read it once a year. J.C. Ryle, Holiness. Trust me, it'll kick your teeth in like you need every single year. He says at the beginning of that book, when he's talking about sin, he says, sin never comes to you in its truest colors, saying, I'm your deadly enemy and I want to ruin you in hell forever. Sin comes to you like Judas with a kiss. And it's so much of this... the feminism and the abortion rights and all of that, it's like Judas with a kiss, right? It's the pretense of I care about you, I care about the woman, and we're gonna erase 500,000 women a year because we care about women, or we care about women, and so we're gonna take away this God ordained beautiful design of the woman in terms
treat
of
it like a curse.
Yeah, treat it like a curse, like just the whole idea of like, oh, you just want to be a mom. Just a mom, just raising the next generation's dragon slayers, and the next generation's heroes and warriors, and just a mom. That's just, it's insanity. Yeah. Just a mom, one of the most noble callings in the history of humanity. Just a mom.
Just making and raising immortal souls that will never die.
Just a mom.
Right.
Yeah, it's wild. And let's be honest, I think, always say like, well, where do we need to be corrected? Where should we get fixed? I think most of us, if you've been raised in this generation, 70s, 80s, 90s kids, now here we are, you're raised with the media influence, the indoctrination, the academic influence, and all of that. It's just in the culture. And we have to admit, as Christians, many of us have thought exactly that way. We thought just like that, like it's just a mom, it's just a wife, it's just a homemaker. And, it's absolute fraud, and it's a fiction, and we need to put it under Jesus' feet as quickly as possible.
So John, then just to kind of tag off that, so how is feminism affecting the church, and as Christian men who love God and love our wives and our daughters, like how do we combat that then?
So, one thing, a woman is incredibly ambitious now, and there's an effect that it's had on men as well, as women are praised and men are really deflated and defeated. There's been a role reversal, and this happens in a lot of marriages. It's certainly happening in our churches as well, as women are taking the helm of authority and men are just sitting back, not wanting to offend anyone. And just letting it happen. It's the sin of Adam, passivity, and letting our women take the reins. It is a sign of judgment on a people in the Bible when a woman is ruling over them.
Say that again.
I think of the book.
Yeah, say that again, John.
Isaiah.
Because there's a lot of Christians that don't actually know that or believe it.
In the Bible, females ruling over a people is a sign of judgment.
Yep.
That's literally a quote from the Bible, but you can just look at the book of Judges as well. My favorite is Deborah. She was the best of the judges. She was an amazing. And so I want to take nothing from Deborah. Deborah, you crushed it. Way to go. You were amazing. But the whole idea of it is God looked across Israel and says, there's not a single man among you that's worth his salt. I'll have this gal do it. And she did a fantastic job. So I'm not taking anything from her, but it was a sign of judgment. It was an indictment against all Israel that there weren't any worthy men.
That's right.
Yep. Very true.
Amen to that.
Men are supposed to lead. You're built to lead, and we're not. Yeah. And so instead, we're passively drifting into the background, and women are running everything. And that is to their detriment as well as ours.
But to John's point, Isaiah chapter 3, verse 12, my people, infants are their oppressors and women rule over them. That's a scripture right there. We're talking about infants and women. And this also applies to the political sphere as well.
Absolutely.
It's not just in the home. It's not just in the church. It's in the public square.
Yeah.
This is a sign of judgment. Yeah. It is.
Absolutely.
And it's not that women aren't capable. Like Deborah showed herself to be a really, really capable leader. It's that, the indictment is really against the men. Men, where are you? Stand up.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be leading. Jesus could have chosen anyone he wanted to be his key disciples and apostles. He chose 12 dudes. And that's who's going to carry the torch. That is a very uneven and sexist distribution. Where are it should be 6 and 6. Why isn't it? Well, Jesus chose 12 dudes to be the foundation of his church. If he wanted to get some women in there, they were around. They were really qualified candidates, by the way. He chose men to lead. He chose Adam to lead. He chose men to lead their families.
Yeah.
And we lead with this sacrificial and servant leadership as Jesus, recognizing that all authority on heaven and earth had been given to him. He took out his outer garment, tied it around his waist, knelt down and washed at his disciples' feet. So if any women are shaking their fists at the heaven right now saying, how dare you suggest that men should actually lead, understand the call for men to lead is in a sacrificial servant way, meaning I'm going to put my wife up on a pedestal and adore her and cherish her, but the buck stops with me. And so she actually likes it that way. She was built to be the helper, not the leader. We make decisions together. We're going at it shoulder to shoulder in a complementarian aspect, but the buck does stop with me. I am the leader. She's not.
Right.
So
Excellent.
That's a great point too, because if you want to be the man, if you want to be the head, then absorb this concept. You die first.
You die first.
Yep.
And your life should be harder than your wife's.
Yes.
You are built strong for a reason. Use your strength to make your wife's life easier than your own. And then don't remind her of it. Love keeps no record of wrongs. You have nope, long suffer, brother. That is what you're built to be, a dude. Carry heavy weights, Support, cherish, adore your wife.